Hey everybody, we've got a smooth start here. Dude, you got to join everybody else in.
I messed that up completely.
Oh well. As you might have realized, I'm still on my holidays. And I'm here with Matt, who is running the computer badly, and Harris, who
Terribly.
might still be a little bit drunk from yesterday's shenanigans.
Just a tad.
A little bit. But he's dressed up as the corny little Viking that he is. God love him. And we are hoping, fingers crossed, that we are going to be joined by Danny de Gandalf very shortly as well. But who knows? But I'm only going to be with you for 15 or 20 minutes or so. And then I've got to drive home. I don't want to go home. I like Cyworks, how all. You're not here, though. Where are you?
Donde.
I need a link. Oh, send him a link. I've sent him a link, haven't I?
Yeah, I'll send it. 1 second.
It's further back in the chat, I believe.
Send him a link. It'll be fine. But anyway, guys, we are in our Halloween special. We're going to be talking horror movies we love. We're going to be discussing what sort of makes a good horror movie. And then we're going to be discussing why Harris thought a Viking was scary. And then we'll go with that. Okay. Not a demon Viking, zombie Viking.
I'm a $40 grab your costume and run kind of Viking, you know?
Excellent. Well, we are now going to be joined by
grab your costume and run kind of Viking.
Danny de Gandalf.
Joined.
How are you? Danny de Gandalf.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, we have got some bad reverb.
Yeah, there's some reverberation there.
Hello, everyone.
We've got some bad reverb.
Yeah, there's some reverberation.
That's all started. Got some evil gremlin. You kick him off again.
Wizards aren't used to actual technology just yet. They're getting there.
His magic is weak.
Gandalf.
We'll get Danny de Gandalf back in, and then we'll get started.
All right. So at this point, is he...
Right, so, guys, before we get stuck into it then, we normally do our little bit. We say, well, what have we watched this week? I'll start because between being on my holidays and being working full-time, I've watched 2 things of interest for this channel. I watched the newest Andor episode. Amazing. There's actually like 2 things happened in 2 episodes. Danny de Gandalf!
Is this any better?
Much better.
Yeah.
I apologize. I have a new setup today. My camera, got it all new stuff from the old house. I'm no longer on a laptop, so God help me. I hope it's better. Anyway, sorry about that.
No worries, you're with us. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
and
somebody, of course, didn't send me a link to the stream. We won't name names.
But okay.
Yeah, I'm blaming you.
It's fair, but Matt is actually running the show today, so it's Matt's fault. So let me just turn.
There we go. Sent a link yesterday.
I thought I did. Exactly. No.
I just scrolled back in the chat and sent the same link again.
Oh, God, hello. So I am doing it by hand today. Nightmare. But anyway, I was just saying that what I've watched this week, because I've only watched a couple of things. I literally watched Andor, which I thought was brilliant, because actually, like, something happened again. It's 2 weeks in a row. It happened. It's great. And Lower Decks, which I adored. That's not just my favorite Lower Decks episode. That's like one of my favorite Star Trek episodes in ages. It was really, really good. And that new ship, the new automated ship, even though it's going to kill everyone, and I've not seen the last episode yet, so no spoilers, but apparently it's back, was just brilliant. There's this automated drone ship, and I'm just like, have you never watched Star Trek? That's going to try to kill everybody at some point very soon. And apparently it does in the last episode, so fingers crossed, it'll be awesome. But yeah, actually genuinely good Star Trek, not just good Lower Decks. I was really, really impressed by it, as you can tell by my high-pitched voice. But How about you guys? What have you enjoyed this week in the world of sci-fi or whatever?
Well, I'll start off
this week.
Oh, sorry. Oh, me. So yeah, I started watching. I've been continuing on watching She-Hulk this week. Got a couple of episodes in, and I haven't gotten to. I don't know if I've gotten to the point where Jamie, you were complaining about the woke episode. I don't think I got there yet. She's navigating her dating world right now.
Yeah.
And of course, I did see Andor. It's really, I really like it. It's really good storytelling. You know, it's I like that Andy Serkis was thrown in there. I'm curious to see if that I'm curious to see how that works out with his character. Also watched.
And then just saw Harris in the corner of my eye. Forgot he was dressed up. I'm giggling to myself. Sorry.
Harris, I do love your hat.
Thank you.
I also watched the original miniseries, Stephen King's The Stand.
Oh, I saw it. Very good, isn't it?
It is very not the recent miniseries, but this is the miniseries that oh god, I guess it came out mid-90s.
Oh, I've
maybe.
not seen that. The recent one with Whoopi Goldberg and that. I thought that was great.
Yeah, this is not that version. This is the earlier miniseries. The rats are his. And then I watched a lot of. I found this list of X-Files episodes to watch for Halloween. So I've kind of been working. It's like a batch of 6 or 7. So I've been working my way through those. And those are kind of cool.
Yeah, they always did a good.
Yes, yeah, they did. They really did. And of course, then the annual Simpsons Halloween special, which is all on point and awesome.
They do a manga version this time, didn't they? So it's like a different version of them. I like how every year they do a different version of Homer and what have you.
Right, and I love reading the credits. You know, the credits. Everyone's got their Halloween name.
Matt Woolingson. That sort of thing.
Exactly.
That better be.
It is. I desperately need water at the moment. It's my lifeblood right now.
What you been watching this week, Harris? Anything good?
This is the first time I don't think Well, no, I did go to the movie theater on Thursday. I've only been to the movie theater, I think, twice this week. I know, so few times. But I saw Pray for the Devil.
No.
It had decent acting, but besides that, not the best. But I saw Tar on Tuesday, which is Cate Blanchett's new film, and it's her and Michelle Yeoh for the Oscar come February. But that's a very complicated composition film, like composing, yada yada. It's great though. It's hard to follow to some degree, but it was great. Besides that, Andor and Tales of the Jedi were perfect on Wednesday to watch, and I think that's it. Besides just catching up on Stargate, I'm like half the way through season 7 on Stargate now, so I'm loving it. Yeah.
I've been told that the Section 31 series that was been bouncing around for a while that they wanted to do, starring Michelle Yeoh, that basically now it's not happening because Michelle Yeoh is going to win the Oscar, or at very least get nominated, and she's then not going to do Star Trek. Those last couple of movies have just been brilliant, and it's sort of put the final nail in the coffin. So we'll do something else. But
she's excellent.
Yeah. Michelle Yeoh is amazing in Star Trek Discovery. It's the best thing in Discovery.
Oh my god, you're right.
Yeah, Section 31 series would have been phenomenal. And looks like it's not happening. Damn it. But anyway, how about you, Matt? What have you watched this week? Because I know you've watched virtually nothing because you've got a new job. So
absolutely nothing. I've watched. You cut out there.
We always
make it up. I watched lots of horror films. I watched lots of sci-fi. No, I've watched absolutely nothing this week, other than the terrible TV you get on regular nighttime television.
Okay.
And that it.
Fun.
Also, I wanted to say this when Harris was speaking. I love how you going to the theater twice in a week is
That's low for me. I know.
It is low. I'm lucky to go like once a year.
My neighbor, actually, I saw Black Adam again with my neighbor, and it was the first time she's been in a theater in, I think, 4 or 5 years. Tonal opposites.
Last film I saw in the cinema was the last Star Wars film. So that was like, what, 4 years ago?
You got to go to they're going to shut. We won't have one. You know, you'll be like wanting to take your kids to the cinema and you won't be able to. Or you'll have to go to the one
I can't hear you.
There's the one in the town shut. It's different, but it's gonna happen. All right. Well, before I run off because the wife wants to go home, I'm a caravan. I want to stay here, but you lost us, Matt. Don't know.
Sign language. I don't.
But we're going to be talking about some of the great horror movies from over the years and some of the favorite ones. I'd love to know what sort of thing scares you in a horror movie or what doesn't. What's stuck with you. But before we I don't know what Matt's doing. Matt, change them. They're not working, mate. Just go with something else.
My headset's not working. Give me a sec.
Hey, we can hear you
now. But I want to start off by talking about two of the like sci-fi horror movies that I think are probably the best two, and that actually both of them completely bombed at the cinema and nearly were forgotten. And also the critics slammed both of them, which is also always a good sign that a film's going to be pretty good. But Event Horizon and The Thing. So, I mean, James Cameron actually said that like the original director, I'm forgetting his name, from the original Thing from years ago, actually stopped taking his calls because the critics and things had slammed The Thing so badly when it was released. They said the special effects were rubbish and it's too over the top and just everything. And if you look back at The Thing now with Kurt Russell, I mean, that stands up today. James Cameron.
It's still not bad, yeah.
Yeah. James Cameron's a man that knows what he's doing when it comes to making a movie, right?
100%.
Oh, I would say so. And a few $1 billion also proves him right.
Yeah, never bet against James Cameron.
No, don't do that.
Exactly. He knows what he's doing, even when films go massively over production. Production companies put up with it nowadays because they've learned his lesson. They've learned their lesson, haven't they? But for me, I always thought The Thing was it's the perfect monster movie. Yeah, the special effects were great. The stories there, the acting, and the casting was just perfection. But that movie absolutely bombed at the cinema. You know, it took $40 million out of a $60 million budget, which is bad. But it went on to become, the classics. Am I losing you guys, or are you losing me?
I think we're losing you.
Yeah.
Ah, God damn it.
Sure. And then it was just, and then you complain about biscuits, and I don't know why.
Right, guys, I will segue because I knew the Wi-Fi was going to suck here, and it was going to cause a problem. So you guys talk, and I will get in the comments.
All right.
I will be at home next time. Please talk.
Sure. Right,
guys,
whatever.
that also bombed at the cinema for me. Okay. See you later. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Ooh.
I
Now I'm all
wanted to
big.
basically, you guys already know, but the commenters won't know. I am a horror movie virgin.
Oh
I
my
was
gosh.
debating whether or not to say that on stream, but I'm a horror movie virgin. I've only watched a handful of horror films. So I didn't think it was fair for you to come on and, start talking about films that I know nothing about when I can just ask you to tell me your favorite films. I can then decide which one I like, and I'm going to watch it. I'm going to pledge that I'm going to watch a horror film and break the virginity.
Okay.
So who wants to go first?
So let's throw Harris under the bus.
All right.
Go on,
All
Harris.
right. Well, in the spirit of sci-fi, of course, and horror, did you see of Nope when it came out earlier this year? That was the most recent horror sci-fi that I can think of.
Was that the Jordan Peele?
Jordan Peele's
No.
Nope with Keke Palmer and Daniel Kaluuya, the guy from Black
I
Panther.
was wanting to go see that, but I never got a chance. Is it streaming anywhere?
That. Well, hold up. I got IMDb right here. We can figure that one out.
Okay.
But,
Show off your IMDb skills.
I'm not that much of a computer guy. I can when I can be. I'll show off. But that's about the extent of my skills right there. I don't know where it tells me on a computer. Honestly, I always look at my phone.
Oh my god!
That means it might not be available yet.
Hell.
It should just tell me. Yeah, no, I'm not sure exactly where to watch it. It should give me a where to watch on there. But if it's not available yet, it should be soon. And it is. I really liked it. After kind of sitting on it for a little bit, it got worse and better in different ways. But I think the horror element of it is definitely the strong point. So if you want some sci-fi that is horror, that the sci-fi is kind of like the fun part that people are like, oh, what goes on? We're sci-fi nerds over here. That's our heart. That's our core. We like that, you know. The horror elements stay there, so it's good. It gets you sci-fi and horror. There's kind of like a creature aspect to it, and it's fantastic. It's kind of like almost Jaws meets Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I've seen people say that, but it's more modern, and of course Jordan Peele's variation of it, and it's fantastic in certain ways.
I am just reading up about it. So it's called Nope. Did you say?
Yes.
Nope.
Nope. Yeah. It looks
First third of the
looks
film
pretty
is
good.
terrifying.
Looks pretty good. I'll probably check that one out. When you were talking about it being released, it was released on DVD about 5 days ago. It probably won't be on any streaming services yet.
Okay. Probably not too far then, at least, thankfully.
Yeah.
Nope is a yes. See, Jamie knows. Jamie knows. All right, Danny Gandalf, what you got?
Okay, so one of I don't know if you call it sci-fi, but it definitely is horror. Yeah, it is kind of sci-fi. There was a series on AMC some years ago that started out called The Terror. It was about this expedition of this English ship that was on an expedition across the Arctic Circle. And it ran across some Inuit people that controlled this beast that looked like a polar bear with a human face. And the way it was filmed and the way it was presented was damn amazing. I mean, it was what's the star's name? Was Jared Harris?
Oh, Jared Harris is great.
Yeah, he was the main character, and I don't want to give too much of it away. And that was the first season, so it's kind of filmed like an American movie, American Horror Story, where there was one season was one set story, and then the next one was The Terror Infamy, which was about this vengeful spirit that lived in this Japanese internment camp here in the United States, something like Manzanar, and there's our favorite navigator, George Takei, was playing in this film. Of course, he grew up in a Japanese internment camp. So I really did like The Terror. It's two separate stories, but and one was kind of a monster story, and the other was kind of a spirit story, ghost story. And oh my God, were they good! Very, very good. In terms of films, I think the one that had the most impact for me, of course, there's lots of sci-fi horror movies out there, but the one that had the most impact, I think, was Alien, the original Alien with Sigourney Weaver and Tom Skerritt. It was, and I saw it the week it came out, way back during 78, 79, I think it was.
Okay.
Anyway, in that day and age, it was considered to be so scary that some towns banned it. I mean, it was a banned movie there for a while because it was so frightening, you know. And then not a lot of people had heard of H.R. Giger by that point, which did all the set design and creature design. And one thing I remember, the thing I remember the most about seeing it in the theater was during the tense scenes, you can start to hear a human heartbeat. And the heartbeat would speed up as the tension rose in the film. And I thought it was just amazing.
Genius.
But, you know, at the end of the film, essentially, it's about the lady and her cat that nobody listened to. So
Sounds about right.
sounds about right, you know?
Sounds about
No
right.
one listens to the woman. They all get killed, and she just takes her cat home.
I have actually seen Alien, so that's one horror film I can say I've seen.
Okay. So there you go. You're no longer a virgin. We deflowered you right here on live cam. Thank you so much.
There we go.
There we go.
Live cam, too. That's one way to say that.
He stole it. He took it away. So, in terms of horror films, what do you guys look for? What makes a good horror film for you guys?
Well, I know what makes a bad one. Like, what was it? I forget which one it was. It was like Jason in space or something. You know, it was like
Jason X.
Jason X. Yes, thank you very much. It was like, really.
Go to the Roman numerals. 10th Jason.
Yeah, it's when you know. I'm not much into gore or splatter movies. I did see, I think it was like Saw 3. The only thing that was missing was the rib sauce because it was very much kind of cannibalistic, just filet mignon that was still screaming and wiggling. You know, it was just, that's all it was. There was no real exposition there. It was a real story. And it's just, you know, I mean, I've made my share of horror schlock films, and it was just not the blood spatter. Although there was blood in Alien, I think these days the films that go for the gore really go for the gore. They're going for the Olympic gold medal with it, and it's just, you know, for me, it still has to be a story.
Yeah. I mean, same thing that makes a good horror film makes a good film in general. It has to have a good narrative.
Right.
And if it doesn't like tell that narrative cleverly, at least in some way, you're screwed.
Yeah.
But thankfully, there are, I mean, the horror films are like just built for cleverness and just fun. I mean, the whole aspect of it is where can we fit in something to scare the shit out of somebody real fast?
Right.
So that's always great, you know? For them to figure out well, I guess, where to put those things, whether it be like an exorcism movie or a slasher movie or Blair Witch Project where you don't see anything and it's just that tension of just running.
Right.
You know, they're all, horror movies are just as wide a genre as anything, but they got to have a good narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, the thing with me and horror films, I always avoided them growing up because they never seemed, just looking at the trailers, they didn't seem believable.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of movie I like to watch. Is I like it to be a little bit believable. I like to, if I was going to go into it and it was something that could reasonably happen, maybe it's a futuristic thing, maybe it's in the past, maybe it's present, but it could reasonably happen, that would get me invested and that would make me want to watch it. But that's probably the reason why I've never really watched that many in the past.
Well, I mean, that's actually like where horror can be great if it makes sense and you can actually follow the story and it makes it feel more real. That I feel like that's kind of when horror is excellent and not just kind of, oh, gore for the sake of gore. Here you go. It's torture porn, but we're having fun just for the sake of it, I guess. You know, it just kind of it goes awry fast. But if something focuses on that, you know, they're in the clear typically. Silence of the Lambs is a good example for that because that's
Yes.
terrifyingly believable. Alien is, even though it's futuristic, it's still believable to a degree because we're shown the things that we need to be believable. I guess whenever that uncanny valley really crosses in a horror film, that's when you're gone.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, Stormy mentioned Saw when he was talking. I've never really considered. It probably is. Would you consider that a horror film, or is it more of just a gore film? Because that's what I would consider it, just a gore film. I've seen them, but I've never thought they were scary, so I don't think of it as a horror.
Right? Yeah, the elements of the film are shot in such a way that they have their shocking moments where they scare the audience and everybody screams, and that's kind of the only thing the movie is. It's just, a series of interlocking events that just have shocking moments of, shit coming at the screen to scare you, essentially. I mean, it's not like, we were talking about The Terror, which is it's an engrossing story. It has, care. You learn, you are emotionally invested in the characters. Same thing with the Thing. John Carpenter's Thing. You were invested in the characters and their fate. Like I said, Saw 3, the only thing missing was the rib sauce. Yeah, I saw, Shelly in chat said, yeah, Saw was horrible. And she's dead on. It's just
when you're focusing on who's going to die next and how they're going to die versus the character story, and then, oh shit, they're about to be in their death scene, or this could be their death scene right here.
Right.
The narrative's off in your own head. It makes you you're not watching a movie anymore. You're watching a YouTube video for certain clips.
Yeah. But
it gets to the point, I guess, when sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Matt. Go ahead, Matt.
I was going to say, it gets to the point where when you're watching a film like Saw, everyone's going to die. It's just waiting for the moment. It's going to happen, but how is it going to happen? And then that's the entertainment, but it's not. I don't know. I never found them scary, which is why I wouldn't say it's horror. It was gross, and it was shocking, but it wasn't scary.
It loses its tension in a lot of places. Like, honestly, the way it's kind of set up, even though it's not people running away, it is people running away, sort of. They're kind of just chained up and, of course, all these different things. But it's similar to the Blair Witch Project or The Thing, where there's something that we're not really seeing all the time going after all these people. And they have to find a way to get away, but they just don't have that same type of tension The Thing or Blair Witch Project does. And Blair Witch Project achieves it with absolutely nothing but a camera and just running in a direction, which is great.
Oh, that's the handheld film.
Yeah,
just
from '99
with one camera. Yeah, yeah. I've not seen that, but I want to.
That one holds up. It's the reason all the Paranormal Activities happened. All of that whole genre. Yeah. It's not because of that, but that helped push that genre, and it's good. Blair Witch is great.
Now, another one, and this may be a little bit controversial, but the one that I really got my heart pounding and had a lot of tension inside me was The Mist. I don't know if you guys remember The Mist. There was this scientific facility, opened this parallel universe, and out crawl the monsters. You have a lot of guys, they're trapped in this grocery store, and you can't see out. And the challenge is to get out and survive. It started like Thomas Jane of the Expanse Fair. It really, to me, it really was scary. And then, of course, the horrible, tragic ending that I won't spoil for our audiences. But I thought that was a really good sci-fi horror film. I mean, it was.
The Mist is awesome. They're making a TV series on it right now.
Oh, are they really?
But Frank Darabont, The Mist is going to be always my favorite.
Oh, great.
Do you think, is that going to be a continuation, or is that going to be a reimagining just in TV form?
I would assume just a reimagining, just a different format of it.
Okay.
Because they have an older movie from the late 70s, maybe late 80s. I might be just
Okay.
I'm generalizing those decades. And Frank
Way back
Darabont is
when.
the guy. Way back when. The Green Mile guy redid it in I think 2005, 2007, and it has
2007.
literally half of the Walking Dead cast in there, which is great because it's the same guy that directed and show ran the first 2 seasons of Walking Dead. So there you go. A lot of Walking Dead and an Expanse guy with Thomas Jane. So life is good. That's a great movie.
Lee has asked if I've watched Outland with Sean Connery. It's a Western type film in space. I have not.
Great.
Have any of you guys?
Great movie. Loved Outland. It was kind of a departure for Sean Connery at that time. It probably been a departure for just about anybody, but it was really good. It did, and it is like it did have this Wild West feel, this Western feel to it, even though it was at a space station.
Might have to check that one out.
Oh wow. David just said The Mist actually already aired on Netflix and it got canceled after a single season.
Well, crap.
Oh no!
Well, see,
I
just
was-
reinvigorate
After you
Frank
said
Darabont.
it, I was going to watch it.
I tell you, good shows on Netflix. They come and go like your favorite characters on House of the Dragon or Game of
Yeah.
Thrones. And it's just like, oh,
So
who's all my friends are here to die.
Hopefully that's the only good thing about that ad tier that's coming on Netflix is hopefully with ads, they're like, we've got extra cash, keep the good shows. Hopefully people keep watching.
Right.
Because they don't advertise their stuff. So how are they supposed to get new subscribers on new shows if you don't? That's a whole different topic for a whole different day. But
Yeah, that
Right.
is the
Yeah.
Netflix model. Part 2.
yep. Good Lord.
You got opinions about the Netflix thing?
He has opinions.
As a poor person, I have opinions.
So there's on my master list of a great sci-fi horror movies we have. There's kind of 2 more, I guess. One is The Crow. I thought The Crow was very well done. Kind of science fiction-y in a way, more of as a spiritual aspect of the main character being infused with the spirit of the crow. But I just wanted to throw that out. But the one that we really need to talk about, and I'm serious about this. Well, this is the one that cannot go unmentioned. And that, my friends, is the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is the epitome of sci-fi and horror and lack of
Wrapped
understanding.
into a wonderful bubble. It's great.
I have seen that as well. I love the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Is
Thank
that
God.
horror? Is that horror?
Good man.
Oh, it's got
It's,
it right
it's
in there?
fantastic.
Yeah.
I suppose, but I love Rocky Horror. There's like conventions that happen in it probably happens in America as well. That my missus really wants to take me to, so we can dress up as all of them.
At the late night double feature picture show, I want to go. Go ahead. Sorry, I'm just reminiscing.
Oh no, Danny Gandalf tunes over here. I love it. That's how all the hobbits hang out, right? Like I got my fireworks,
right.
I got my tunes.
Hobbits in the time warp, baby. Now that's a party.
There we go. There we go. No, what is it? Joaquin said, "What about The Exorcist with Max von Sydow?" I don't know if it's necessarily a sci-fi horror, but it is one of the best horror films, easily.
It was really good. I remember, the line that has stuck with me for all these years has been him yelling out, "Kill them all, let God sort them out."
Yeah.
I've heard that phrase before, but the way he delivered it got my attention.
A little demonic, I didn't say.
Yeah, it was. It was extremely iconic.
I've seen The Exorcist as well. I can talk about The Exorcist.
Yeah. And the original is so much better. All the different remakes have been awful. Not necessarily awful. They just haven't.
The one I watched
recapped.
was from the 70s.
Yes.
The old one. the old one.
They are doing a direct sequel to it as we speak. I don't know if they're filming right now or post-production, pre-production, or what. But it's got all the remaining cast that's still alive and didn't die off in the first film. So
That was good.
they'll be back.
Always good.
They're Top Gun Mavericking The Exorcist, of course.
Nice. I did like The Exorcist. It was one of those films. I completely forgot that I'd seen it until someone mentioned it.
It's good.
But I used to watch it all the time when I was younger.
I wonder how Exorcist would be if somebody reimagined it as like a priest road buddy movie. You know, two out of control priests go across the United States, town to town, searching out the devil.
Just exercising random women, just
Right, you know, they get in their Godmobile and they cruise up to a Waffle Hut and expel the demons. There's something there, right? I mean,
I like it.
That be a thing?
I think that's the plot to Deadpool 3. That's what Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds are doing.
Right? Damn, I snorted.
Halloween special.
Yes. Yes. Oh God. Yeah, that was
good. Well, I think one that we mentioned a couple weeks ago because it came out is I'm still pretty privy to it. I gotta say Hellraiser is one of the best sci-fi horrors in general because it's very demonic, but it's not necessarily demons. It's literally all sci-fi. It's just it's different dimensions and certain. I don't know how to necessarily explain the box. There's a puzzle box. I don't know if you've seen Hellraiser, Matt, or not, but there's a puzzle box that you have to. A person starts, and then once they get one section of the puzzle done, their hand or whatever they're using to finish the box typically gets stabbed, and that kind of summons what seems to be a demon, but they're really Cenobites, which is a whole altered dimension kind of being. It's terrifyingly great, and it is really super sci-fi at its core, and most people don't even realize it. They're like demons popping out, some Satan shit. No, it's not. But
I did mention this in one of the previous lives. I was in the chat. I know who Pinhead is, Hellraiser, but the reason I never watched it because of what I told you. I went to one of these. It was Halloween. It was in Blackpool, which is like the budget Vegas of the UK, and I went to this like horror thing where you walk through, and it's like an escape room, but you just walk through and then things jump out. I got chased by this Pinhead guy, and it proper scared me. And I was like, I don't want to even watch that because he scarred me for life.
That's all the more reason to now, right?
It was almost 15 years ago, so I think enough time has passed.
Wow. Scare the scare out.
Did we decide last week that Pinhead is now a Disney princess? Did we decide that? We did this. That has been confirmed. Pinhead is a Disney princess. Well,
officially established. Cenobites are all Disney princesses in a way.
I guess so. Now is Tim Curry interesting? As Dr. Frankenfurter.
Dr. Frankenfurter is definitely a princess.
Okay. Good.
I don't know if Disney is the right version of it, but he's a princess. But no, Hellraiser is fantastic. If you are going to check it out, I like the new one a lot, but I would watch Clive Barker's original one first. You don't necessarily need the sequels, but because they're all varying degrees, but the first one's just still. It's terrifying. Talk about some torture porn. There's gore and stuff, but it's narratively meaningful, so keeps you there.
What? Okay, here's a question for you both.
Okay.
If you could pick five horror films, sci-fi or not, it can be any horror.
Okay.
Ranked from 5 to 1, what would be in your top 5?
Oh shit.
For favorite, for best, or what?
So just top 5. So either because it's really scary or just because it left an impact on you in some way.
Boy, that's a hard question.
Yeah.
Or
maybe we should do top three.
Maybe
Maybe we should do top three.
top three.
I would have to say somewhere in my top three. I don't know what the rank would actually be. Well, one would have to be Alien, because that one really did scare the hell out of me at the time. Here's another one. Okay, so this probably in the science fiction genre scared the absolute crap out of me. I don't think I've been more shocked, more terrified, more negatively affected than this one film. This one film, for me, takes the cake of horror movies. Okay, you ready? The Wizard of Oz. My grandparents thought it was a great idea to show me Wizard of Oz at the tender age of 3. And those goddamn flying monkeys lived in my closet. I knew it for a fact, and I had to sleep with the damn light on for the next 4 years. That's
You
it.
meant 40 years.
4 years.
That is a very surreal film. I can see why you'd be scared
Holy
as a child.
shit, man.
Yeah.
It's just in terms of like shaping your life, Wizard of Oz for this 3-year-old was terrifying.
That'll do it. My first film memory, Mr. Danny Gandalf over there, is of Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King. The first film memory I had. So what? That came out in 2003. So I was 4.
Oh, shut
something
up.
like that.
How old are you?
I'm 24 in February. We're getting there. Not that fast, but that's a good thing. But the first film memory I have is Gollum turning into Gollum. So Smeagol turning into Gollum, jumping on. I don't remember his brother's name, but killing his brother and taking the ring, and then
Smeagol
Yeah.
killed Deagle.
it's Deagle. There we go. Smeagol killed Deagle.
Deagle.
That's my first film memory, and it's not that scary now, but it still gives me just it brings the kid back out. You know, it's terrifying to a degree.
Is it my birthday present?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's Lee's top.
First
Is
film I
Is
remember.
there 5 in there?
Oh, okay. So mine's gonna sound generic. Besides Hellraiser, just because Hellraiser, I love Hellraiser. That's what I like to see in a horror movie. But it's The Shining and Silence of the Lambs. Those are just you watch them and you're different after in a way.
Okay, so this is we have a very cultured member of the human race in our audience, Lee Wilcox. Actually, talked about The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover, the film by Peter Greenaway.
Hey.
Peter Greenaway is probably one of the best conceptual directors there's ever been. He also had another film called Prospero's Books. John Gielgud starred in that, and it was literally a film about the Tempest. But yeah, talk about name dropping. Lee Wilcox wins it for today. The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover. A very, very young Tim Roth starred in that. Essentially it's about this London gangster that takes over a restaurant. And also a very young Helen Mirren was in that film, and it was what's this for something Gabon?
Michael Gambon's in here too.
Yeah. I mean, it's who's who of young actors that really made it big later on. So Cook, Thief, Wife, Lover. It wasn't that scary to me, but it was more of
it's got an NC-17
murder, gangster, rampage kind of film, you know?
Okay. I mean, it's got an NC-17 rating, so it's got to have some meat to it.
Yeah. Oh my God, did it have meat? the scenes, in the meat truck, Cook, Thief, Wife, Lover. Please go see it without your.
I've got an IMDb. It's on my watch list now.
Okay. Peter Greenaway. And also watch, if you can find it anywhere. It's very difficult to find. You may have an easier time, Harris, finding it where you live. Prospero's Books. Prospero's books, we have all been robbed. I've got a speech about this. We have all been robbed because Prospero's books is not a Criterion Collection film. If there has ever been a film that deserves a Criterion release, it is Prospero's books. Period.
Huh.
You were saying about The Wizard of Oz being a film that scarred you as a child, essentially. That kind of unlocked a memory in my mind. So I don't know what the film was. You might be able to tell me what it is based on what I tell you. But when I was 5, 6, the Mr. Bean movie had come out.
Okay.
And I think it had been out for maybe a year, something like that. And it was on TV, so my dad put in the little VHS and we were going to record it. Unbeknownst to me, he must have also recorded something else because I took the video out of the VCR, which is obviously not. It wasn't Mr. Bean. It was a film where I started watching it, and halfway through, a woman is in the shower and she just starts getting stabbed in the shower.
Oh yeah,
Psycho?
I don't know what the film is. Is it Psycho?
Yeah. Yes,
Probably.
Okay, so as a
Was it black and
6-year-old,
white?
yes.
Psycho.
To my mind, as a 6-year-old, I was thinking, "Oh, this is like a build up to Mr. Bean." I don't know.
You're like, "Where's Mr. Bean?"
But it got to that scene, and I had to turn it off. I'm like, "This isn't Mr. Bean. What the hell is happening to Mr. Bean?" So that was my earliest. That's my earliest film memory that I can think of. And that might be the reason why I avoided horror films all this time.
That very well might be a good reason for that. Yeah. Woo. Expecting the happy Mr. Bean popping up halfway through, you freaking Alfred Hitchcock just.
I don't know how I got so far into the film to see that though. Like I didn't realize that it wasn't Mr. Bean. I mean, I was told I was an idiot. But.
You had good patience.
God. Damn.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. You're looking for Mr. Bean. You came up with Psycho. Wow.
That would be a very good parody.
On
Parody of
topic,
Mr.
but you
Bean.
made me think of Mr. Bean. Have y'all seen that Man vs. Bee on Netflix with Rowan Atkinson?
No. Tell me about it.
I haven't, but people tell me it's good.
It's
Is it a
actually
movie
good.
or is it a series?
It's a series, but they're all
Series.
11 minutes, 12 minutes, 7 minutes, 15 minutes. You know, they're just different variations of shorts. But it's Rowan
Okay.
Atkinson who is kind of, I guess the general gist of it is he's a kind of a dad that's lagging. The wife's divorced him. His daughter's kind of like, all right, dad, you know, kind of pushing him away. Not the most successful dude, you know, but he's not very great at keeping a job. So he gets a job at house sitting. And while this really fancy couple that he's got the super nice rich house that he's house sitting for, there happens to be a bee that gets stuck inside of the house. And the entire series is Rowan Atkinson trying to kill said bee. But let's just say the opening scene is him in a court of law with the couple who owns the house. So I haven't finished the series yet. I have like 2 or 3 little episodes left, but that's the gist of it right there.
Yeah, I saw the
And it's
trailer
Dan
for it, and it did look really good. I really
It's
want
just
to
Rowan
watch
Atkinson being Rowan Atkinson, and it's great.
it. And no one gets murdered.
No. Well,
And what
maybe
fun?
the bee. No.
Maybe the bee. Existence with Christopher Eccleston. Anyone?
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Heard of it.
Christopher Eccleston, the 9th Doctor, not the 10th. Sorry, the 9th Doctor.
Only thing I think
Anything
I've ever
with him
seen
is
him
on the watch.
was it Doctor Who. It was like I think Thor: The Dark World, and there was a British zombie film. Was it 28 Days? That he played a colonel in or a major in. Is a zombie
Yeah, that
movie?
sounds like a zombie. 28 Days Later, maybe? No. Yeah, 28 Days Later.
Okay.
Yeah. Christopher Eccleston as Major Henry West.
Major.
Eccleston's great.
He is.
Just not Thor: The Dark World. We won't talk about that one.
Oh, why can't we? Why can't we talk about the Dark World?
I mean, we can if you want to. Oh, Alan Taylor directed it. Give us the Taylor cut. I'm kidding. I don't know.
Dude, we really want the Taylor cut.
He's campaigned for it, but that guy's great though. He was great in Game of Thrones, and yeah, he was the Dark Elf.
I do love Christopher Eccleston. He had a series that in the UK, and it's all about autism. I think he's got autism. I think he has autism, or he's with someone who has autism, and it's really good. It's really
was
good.
that the A Word? He played Maurice Scott.
The A Word, yes.
I need to watch
That'll be
that.
it.
I need to watch that. I wonder where the A Word is streaming. Let's not ask Harris. He's useless at these kind of questions.
I think it was a BBC. It was either BBC or Channel 4.
I might be able to.
So it would be on iPlayer. Did you get access to iPlayer in America?
Only if I had a VPN I could fiddle with, probably. I mean, I've got I think I've got BBC, but I don't know if it'll have that. I'd like to see it. Add that to my list.
We're coming up to almost an hour. Let's recap what films we've all mentioned, and I'm gonna tell you which films I'm gonna watch. One of the films that you've mentioned that I definitely will watch is going to be Hellraiser.
Okay,
there we go.
I'm gonna face my fear, and I'm gonna watch it. Yeah,
there you go.
So I'm gonna watch Hellraiser. Not sure when.
Next
late at night with no one in the house. That's when you watch Hellraiser.
Of course. Right when you have all your puzzles around you. That's the best time to do it.
Haunted Rubik's Cube. That's all Hellraiser is.
If you have a Rubik's Cube around you, just toss it in the other room. Just
damn good advice.
There was a film you mentioned at the beginning, Harris, that sounded pretty good. It was the sci-fi horror. Nope. Was it called?
Yep.
Nope.
I'm going to add that to my list as well.
It's good.
I love sci-fi, and if it's science fiction, I might enjoy it a little bit more.
I don't want to sidebar too much on it, but have you seen Get Out, Jordan Peele's first movie?
Get Out.
Neither one of you seen Get Out? That is a fantastic horror film. It's a big social commentary as well, but it's mostly a horror film. I believe he won He won maybe the first Oscar for best original screenplay for a horror film since maybe not Silence of the Lambs. I can't think of what the last one was prior to it, but it's in a very small category of horror films that have won an Oscar and like best original screenplay kind of deal. And it's good. It is really good, and it's got a sci-fi element. It's more of a medical kind of sci-fi element to it, but it is spine tingling in its own sense, and it'll get you. I would watch Nope first because I think Get Out it was his first movie, but I don't know if he can ever make a movie as good as that. I don't want to say that because I got faith in the guy, but Get Out is fantastic. Nope is really good as well, though. I think that's a good one to dive in on,
Stormy mentioned The Thing, and I have seen things about The Thing a lot. Would you recommend that as a film to watch?
I would say so. I mean, the Thing was kind of foundational for a number of reasons. One being science fiction horror. But yeah, it's on a lot of people's top tens list for that genre. So yeah, I would definitely add that.
Okay. So if you were to, I'll ask each of you. So the 6 films, so 3 each. If you were to give me 3 films as something to wet my whistle, so start with something not scary, then something a little bit scary, and then something very scary. What would you suggest?
Well, in terms of not scary, please start out with the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I've seen that already. I love that. I love that
Seen it
film.
already. He's seen it.
Oh, you've already seen it. Right, that's right. And did you see The Mist?
The Mist. I didn't know.
Okay, Mist is
That's a good one.
yeah. I would start off with Mist. I would say, what do you think the next film should be, Harris?
Have you seen The Shining?
Is that the film with Jack Nicholson?
Jack Nicholson. Oh yeah,
I've seen parts of it.
that's worth.
I'm going to add that to my list.
And
you've got a sequel. Technically, it did Top Gun Maverick first. Dr. Sleep with Ewan McGregor. I think 2018 or 2019. I think it was 2019, maybe 2020 even. But you've got a legacy sequel in a way. So yeah, you got 2 things to watch there, which will be fun.
And probably the last thing I would suggest, and this gives you lots of things to watch. I'd watch the 2 seasons of The Terror.
The Terror.
The Terror.
That's a television series.
That's correct. It was on AMC in the U.S. So if you only can get 1 season, I would do season 1. Start off there. I mean, they're both, but season 1 and season 2 are self-contained stories. If you're the one, the whole horror shock to your system kind of thing, I would go for season 1.
Okay, Stormy, did you ever see the horror TV show Fear Itself?
Maybe once. I'm not sure.
It was kind of that American Horror Story kind of anthology in a way. Like every week, it was instead of every season was something different. Every week was something different, and it was like a mini series in a particular way. But I think they had a few seasons of mini series, and it's terrifying, or at least it was when I was younger. I took a middle school horror class, and I got showed that, and Drag Me to Hell, and that I was just like, all right, I'm in it. Horror movies are great, but this is terrifying. But Fear Itself is a good TV series as well for both of y'all. It's got a bunch of vampires, a little bit of everything.
TV. So I'm adding all of these to a list. I'm making a spreadsheet right now.
Okay, so while you make a spreadsheet, I got a question for the audience. There's another thing that really scared me. I guess I was 13, 14. This was maybe mid-70s. It was on television, which was kind of unusual for the time. It was a movie of the week, if you guys know what those are. It was on television, and it was a couple moves into this house. Now, I've always been wanting to know what the name of this show is. Couple moves into the house. They start renovating or something like that. And there was, in the foyer of the house, there was some trap door or gate that they found. They could explore down, and there were these monsters living in this, underneath the earth, underneath this house. And it scared me to death. I remember my grandfather taunting me because I was scared of it, grabbing my toes under my sheets. What a jackass! Anyway, I remember the family fled in like a blue Volvo, and that's the only thing I really remember about the show. And I always wanted to know where the movie buffs hang out. That kind of I was wondering if there's a Reddit where movie buffs hang out to answer questions like that.
I'm sure there is. There's got to be.
There will
gotta
definitely
be
be some sort of Reddit.
That and horror line put together.
Yeah. but it's like mid 70s. It would have been probably 75, 76 ish.
The Hole. Lee Wilcox suggested The Hole. Maybe we hang out here. Thank you, Lee. That's exactly right. The film buffs are over here. We know what we're talking about. Sometimes, most of the time.
Yeah, there'll definitely be some sort of subreddit.
Oh yeah,
There's a subreddit for everything nowadays.
And
There's even
then
there's a Star Trek subreddit. So if you have Reddit, go join us.
hashtag sidetrack on everything.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. I'm looking on IMDb for The Hole.
So I had a look. I did Google The Hole. The only one I can find is a 2009 film.
Yeah, this is definitely mid 70s.
Ooh, it's not correlative to this at all, but we haven't talked about it, and just to mention it just a little bit, because it's really not a horror film. It's more of a thriller, but it's supposed to be like a creature horror in a way. Does Tremors count for anything? 'Cause Tremors is just great. It's a
Yeah, I think that would. I think that would.
Tremors is the best. Kevin frickin' Bacon, man. That's such a good movie.
I live right down the road from where that was filmed.
That's awesome. I'd go visit the set once a week just for the sake of it.
You need to. You need to. There's a museum here, the Museum of Western Film. I think it is in Lone Pine, California, that actually still has a lot of the props that was used in that film, especially the creatures.
Give me the graboids. I love it. Yeah, I love that movie.
That does look good. I've just quickly jumped on IMDb to have a look at that.
Have you never seen Tremors?
I've never seen it, but it looks very much like the first thing I thought of was Mandalorian.
That's your first thing to start out with. That's your like not scary at all. Dip your toes in the water, have fun with it. That is like Tremors. There are like YouTube essays, there are video essays on this stuff. Tremors is the absolute perfect B movie. It is the best like B+ movie that you could ever see. It's so well done, so well, and it stands up. It's great. That's like number
what
one.
I'll do. Well, how many have I got here? I've got 9 films because Doctor Sleep is in there, but that's after The Shining.
Yes.
So what I'll do is I'll pick one of them. I'll do it like a random dice, I guess, and I will watch it at some point within the next month, and then I'll make a video about it.
Well, there you go. That's a good idea.
There we go.
And if I don't make a video about it, you can rip me in the comments.
Of course we will. And you're welcome.
We do want little clips of reactions throughout the video of what you're watching, because if you're terrified, it makes it that much better, right?
That's a good idea. I could film myself watching it.
And you can have like some sort of editing, just I think it'd be awesome.
That would be good. Okay. So we've been on for an hour. Do you think it's a good time to say goodbye? Or should we stick around for a little bit?
Well, we can just always shoot the shit about something else.
We could switch the subject and start talking about Stargate.
God help us.
Or something else.
I do have to go to work later today, but yes, let's talk of some. So, what was all so this Hemsworth fella is now going to be? Let's discuss that. Yeah, that seems.
He is now tied to being the next Witcher. He's replacing Henry Cavill, which makes him not available to do Stargate anymore, which kind of puts the whole thing up in the air.
I see.
So we have no idea what's going on now. It's kind of all up in the air, and it seems to have.
Well, as long as he wasn't actually like show running, it's just replacing an actor, right? Or is that replacing a producer as well?
I'm not sure. I think he was going to be one of the top
if
guys.
not like a showrunner, a big producer of some sort, and now
potentially, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
So
that's
it's
really interesting.
so I'm just going based on what Jay's put out there.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it seems like he was originally going to be. I don't know if it was going to be showrunner. It might have been showrunner, and I thought it was really strange that he was going to be showrunner, but it was something big he was going to do, and he was going to. I think it was they needed a big name to attach to it, kind of thing, to pique the interest. But now, obviously, he's now going to be the next role. It's not going to happen.
Now the Cavill did he not do Witcher because he's doing something else? What was it? Highlander?
No, because he's back as Superman.
Is it Superman?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
He just has too many DC things, and I guess because James Gunn has been hired and is only going to be there for 4 years, and they have technically 4 years to revamp the entire DCU. I guess they're hopping right into it, which is why they were like, yeah, you're not going to have time for Witcher.
Yeah.
But also, whenever I posted in our Sidetrack Facebook group that y'all should so go join, of course, there was one of the comments that was responding said that the reason I think Henry Cavill wanted to play Geralt so bad was because he loved the character and the story of The Witcher. He loved the books and the video games, both. And the showrunner, as we know, she's done well. I like the show itself. I don't love the show, but I like the show a lot. It's not really super canon heavy in many ways. And the comment was saying that he understands that. And Henry Cavill said, all right, if I could play the Boy Scout again and actually play him as a Boy Scout and not some sad, depressive Superman, he's kind of jumped on it, I guess. He'd rather play a character that he, I guess, can stay in that character and actually feel like he's being the character that is we know and love. Because if Geralt's not going to be Geralt as much as we'd like him to be, he's going to feel that first, you know? Same thing with Superman not being Superman. He's been the first person to campaign for, hey, tone it down. I don't need to be snapping Zod's neck in the back end of a movie. We should be Superman. I'm the guy that's going to stop down and save the cat in the tree and then keep going on with my day.
We all want to go Zod snapping, don't we? I love doing Zod snapping. I'm at the grocery store and I'm thinking, I'd like to be snapping some Zod right about now. Sorry, go ahead.
I do love Henry Cavill in the fact that he is just a nerd. He is a nerd first and foremost. So anything that he does, you can tell he loves doing it. And when he first got made into Geralt, there was some interview I watched, and it was essentially him saying that if anything wasn't quite right, I'd be like, no, that's not how it happens. It happens like this.
I mean, he just has a really good screen presence. I watched a YouTube video of him this last week putting together a gaming PC.
Yep.
And he even stole the scene there. I mean, he just has such a great screen presence that's hard to take your eyes off of. It's like, kind of like Jason Momoa. No matter, even when he was in Stargate Atlantis, he stole damn near every scene just by kind of standing there and going, yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. And actors like that are really few and far between. And
Cavill's the epitome.
I do love Jason Momoa in Atlantis. One of my favorite scenes with him. I think it must have been like the late season 4 or 5. I'm not sure which. But Woolsey's in charge, and Woolsey has brought in this thing where he's like, everyone has to write a report, and he's like, I don't write reports. He goes, oh, you can use this dictaphone. You can just talk. He goes, I don't talk either. And then they have to say Atlantis. And at the end, he hands him this microphone thing, and he goes, I wrote a report. And he plays it, and all it is, some Wraith got into Atlantis. We beat them. End of report.
End of report.
End of report.
I'm so excited. I think I'm on episode 12 or 13 of season 7, so I'm right there.
So you're up to the point almost, or have you seen Lost City? Is that's season 7, isn't it?
I haven't seen them get to it. They're searching for it. They know of its existence and they're searching for it. The last episode I watched is a 2-parter, and I'm blanking on what they showed me in the first part of the 2-parter. It's when Daniel and I forget the other scientist's name are down in the Amazon, and they're looking for it. It's when Anubis is introducing, I guess, the Gould super soldiers.
Oh, the Coal Warriors, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I just finished that first episode, which was good. I'm excited for more.
And was that the one where they all get snapped up by some sort of rebels, some sort of junta?
Yeah. Right prior to that was the all like Amazonian warriors in a way.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when they're looking for that cube thing.
Yes, yeah. They just found
the thing that is the foundation for the sarcophagus. I think they said.
Okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
It's the foundation because it's like the fountain of youth. That was the whole mythology.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
know where you're at.
And it's some good stuff. I'm very excited every time I watch it.
You're in for
That's why I haven't been watching it.
Season 7 is fantastic. But are you on the end of season 7 or you're at the beginning?
Like smack dab in the middle. Where I'm at is like literally either 11, 12, or 13. So it's like smack in the middle.
He's smack dab in the middle.
I think the end of season 7 is the end of season 7, I'm pretty sure, is like the greatest Stargate you'll ever watch.
I'm pumped.
Because that's when Atlantis starts.
It feels like the show. I mean, the show is an entity in itself in a way, and you can. It's in its. I don't know. I feel like it's like right past its teen years in a way. In season 7, it's like it just got into college, and it's now like kicking things up. It's ramping things up a bit. You know, I love it. It's fun. For it's not an old show necessarily, but for the age of a show it is, it's amazing. I'm surprised I didn't know about it when I was younger, because I would have ate it up.
I was very lucky to have someone a little bit older than me introduce it to me when I was younger. So I was about 12 when I first found it, and I was hooked from the very first. I think I must have started watching it maybe like halfway through season 4 or 5. So in 2003. When whatever season was on in about 2003, 2004, that's when I first started watching it. And then I was like, this is amazing. I need to go back. And I watched all of them from then. And now I've watched it like 50 times over.
You watched the movie. Did you watch the movie first or go straight into the series?
I didn't watch the movie first. I'm one of them people I found it from the television show. But I obviously loved the movie. The movie's fantastic.
Yeah.
But I watched that after the fact because I wanted to know where did Stargate come from. And then I found it. It's amazing.
It's fantastic. Lee just said in the comments, how about Farscape? I almost chose to watch Farscape over SG-1. And Farscape has a bunch of fans, but I'm so glad I watched SG-1.
Is Farscape the one that has Ben Browder and whoever
Claudia
plays
Black.
Vala?
Claudia Black.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They both come in later, right? Into SG-1 itself, right?
Season 9, yes.
It's in Stargate. That's they had such great chemistry in Farscape. I really did love Farscape.
Really? Yes. I like the concept of it. I've seen the first 2 episodes of it. The concept seems nice. I like the whole prison barge out in space, but it doesn't seem like it could last for 4 or 5 seasons either.
It did. It did. It could have gone a couple more probably, because they were. Once you get into understand what the peacekeepers are, and then you start getting into the Peacekeeper War. I just thought it was an excellent series, and Claudia Black and Ben Browder, they were just excellent together on screen, just excellent together. And the puppetry from Jim Henson Studios was just magnificent. Magnificent.
That you might have just given me a little bit of an epiphany. Jim Henson might be the reason I started watching Stargate, because I kind of, whenever I saw the movie, I saw the movie and the TV show. I started with the movie, but my whole decision making was, okay, Stargate or Farscape. And I chose Stargate, but the reason I even had Farscape in mind was because of Jim Henson. I just watched Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance, and that might be the reason I got into this.
And after a few episodes, you forget they're puppets. That's how good Jim Henson Studios. After a few episodes, it's hard to get. At first, you see it, and you see the first episode. Well, puppets, really? But after a few episodes, it is so good. The acting, the writing, and the puppetry is so good. You really forget that they're puppets.
What is Farscape available on? How can we watch it?
Hulu?
Because I'm like you, Harris. I've not seen that.
It could be Hulu.
I only know of it because of Stargate.
I just bought the whole thing, but
I just bought it all.
I'm sure there's a way I could find it.
It could be Hulu, it could be Netflix. It's one of the, or Amazon or something. But it is excellent.
It is. Here, let me look on my phone. Farscape is fantastic. I really would like to see more Jim Henson work. Just I pass by the Jim Henson Company in LA all the time, and it makes me sad knowing that they're renting out studios in there instead of using them themselves sometimes, which they are to a degree, but I need more. I'm still mad at Netflix for canceling Dark Crystal.
Oh, right. That was just like, a kick of the head.
Oh, okay. Farscape's on Freevee, so it's Amazon Prime, but not.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can watch that. I have Amazon Prime. Free is good. We like free.
Oh yeah.
I think it should be time to wrap up because my missus is asking me to go and eat dinner. So
she's going to feed you, bro. Of course you got to go.
But thank you both for coming. It's been educational for me as a horror. I guess we've determined that I'm not a horror virgin as such. I'm a horror. Whatever the word for noob is when you haven't seen something.
Amateur noob, but it's got to be.
I'm a horror amateur. Yeah.
And once you get saturated with horror, then you have to really up your game, and you have to go and watch something like, I don't know, Sound of Music to really feel the terror and the stretching of.
But you have to watch Sound of Music after you've peaked on acid, and that's when you go in. A whole different thing.
Yeah, because
then you watch Land Before Time on acid.
Yeah. Once you've gone out in my backyard and dug up some peyote.
Hey-o.
When the line comes up, the hills are alive with the sounds of music. Then it kicks in, man.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. You're just freaking you out.
Everything becomes a horror.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, the jackrabbits come, so do. They start vibrating the do sound, and it's just, yeah. Sound of Music to microdosing, I'm not sure that'd be a really good mix. Actually, that kind of really does fucking terrify me.
Makes it fun. But you said the hills are alive, and it made me think of, by next Halloween, Matt, we will work you up to The Hills Have Eyes. Well, we'll get you into some scary things.
Oh, yeah. No, there's something that
get some skin crawling for you.
Yeah. The Hills Have Eyes. That's something you want to wear. You want to watch while wearing adult diapers. I think I've heard mentioned before.
I watched it at like 10 or 12 years old for the first time, and that was not a good decision. That was not a good decision.
Harris, was that last week?
It was last month. I've been Benjamin buttoning. I go back and forth. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. God, we're terrible.
All right. Well, I'll say thank you both for coming. It's been very
Thank you,
educational
Matt.
for me. It's been. I hope everyone's enjoyed it.
It's been fun.
I've enjoyed it. It's been pretty good.
I'll always enjoy it. I get to run my mouth for an hour. How great is that?
As always, it's been a pleasure speaking to both of you. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
You as well.
Let's roll the outro.